Hello, welcome back to the Innovate Eco podcast and the Innovate Eco YouTube channel. That's right. If you're seeing me in 3D and you've tuned into the YouTube channel, then yeah, for 2025, things are changing. We're updating. We're now not just on podcast format, but I'm also starting the YouTube channel. I did actually start it a while ago, but I haven't really put much on there. But I'm going to be going back, putting all the podcasts on there and starting to do way more content over on YouTube as well. So yeah, that's what I wanted to come here today to this video, to this podcast, to talk to you about some plans for 2025 and for the podcast and the channel as well. So for the podcast, if anyone that's coming back, welcome back. For anyone that's here for the first time, just a little quick introduction to what it is. Innovate Eco, I started back in 2018, kind of born out of a frustration with the environmental movement. I did environmental science university and just a lot of moaning and negative stuff around how we should change our ways and things like that, and environmental movement. That was really the main message, and I was getting a little bit frustrated. And yes, I know there's a lot we can do to change, but I want to be more proactive. I wanted to find positive stories out there, not just the negative ones around the environment, because I believe that's the best way we've got to tackle these problems. So I set out to try and find businesses, entrepreneurs who are coming up with innovative solutions to tackle environmental problems. And I did this through this podcast series. So over the years, I've interviewed almost 50 different people, talking to founders, one who created roads out of plastic waste, for example. We had lab-grown meat companies. We've had sailing ships that are tackling the shipping industry problems. We've had soil cleanups using hemp and creating products from that, all sorts of things. So if you haven't listened to the podcast already, do go back and check it out. It's available on all podcasting platforms out there. I'm going to carry on doing those interviews as and when I come across these ideas. If you've got one of these ideas and you started a business or you work for a business, do get in touch with me in the comments on YouTube, or do email. I'll leave my email address in the podcast description in YouTube as well. Or you can reach out to me on other social media. So I'm going to carry on doing those interviews. On the YouTube channel, I'm going to be putting out more content. The whole aim of Innovate Eco is to inspire more people to start these businesses, turning entrepreneurs into entrepreneurs, some people say. And yeah, so as a big part of the channel, I want to start putting out content to help people do that. You'll notice that on the podcast, there's sections on there like current founders sharing other business ideas to try and spread the love. So yeah, more stuff like that. And then tips and tricks on how to start businesses, just more about entrepreneurship in general. And then the big announcement of 2025 is they're going to be doing a bit of a side podcast called the Startup Diaries, Innovate Eco, the Startup Diaries. And this is where I'm going to finally put my money where my mouth is and start a business of my own. People have said to me, you've been doing all these interviews, you talk to all these founders, have you never thought about starting a business of your own? And the reality is, yes, I have thought about it a lot, but have never taken the plunge. So it's about time I did. So this year, 2025, going to be doing that and documenting the whole thing on here, on the podcast, on this podcast mini series we're calling the Startup Diaries, which I'm going to do with my co-founder for this business, and they will be my co-host as well. So introduce them on the next episode. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, it'll all be coming out on the same podcast channel. So you don't need to subscribe to anything new. If you're here on YouTube, do subscribe on the podcast. And if you're here listening to the podcast, do check out the YouTube channel. I'll leave just links in the description below. I'm going to do the YouTube under my name rather than Innovate Eco. But yeah, that's it. That's a brief intro. That's what we've got going forward in 2025. I hope you like that. I hope that's interesting and something that sounds exciting. Do let me know what you think. If you've got any ideas, always welcome that feedback. And yeah, stay in touch and we'll see you soon.